Oh, hi all. Hi. Let me please in the chat that you can hear me and you can see me well. Welcome to Prague. My name is Kateřina. I was born on Prague, born in Prague, live in Prague. So, can you hear me? Can you see me? Please let me know that you are there. So far, no messages. So let's see. Yes, perfect, Tish. Great. Hi, Kevin. So welcome. We are in Kampa Island. I just have been like for half an hour in the cafe here. You know me. I always go for a cafe before tour, and also during the day because it's needed. Yeah. Hello, all of you. Satya, I'm great. Claudia, nice to see you all. So let me start the tour of Kampa Island. So first, let's switch the camera, which is somewhere. I'm not sure. This one? Yep, perfect. So you see where we are. That's the Mill Cafe. Mill Cafe, which is the popular place. And again, the zoom, I have to, sorry, adjust this zoom. Yeah. So it's the place which is quite popular with locals. Of course, tourists get here as well, but locals love it. And especially maybe you have heard about the David Černý, the famous sculptor or artist. He's coming quite often. This is really strange what I'm showing you now. It looks like the river goes from the wall. Yeah, because on that side, it's a Kampa Island on that side, this is little town. But the river comes from under the ground and then there is Vltava River. So this is the stream, or I call it river, but it's a stream, Čertovka, Devil's Channel. And it looks like really it's coming only from the wall. Let's peek inside to the Mill Cafe, as it's quite popular place. The signal there is probably going to be a little bit lower. Just peek inside and go out. So you see quite beautiful, some art on the wall through the window, some art on the wall here as well, and a beautiful little terrace garden where you can sit when it's weather like this, which means almost summer. And now let's go then to the island. So crossing Čertovka stream and visiting the island, which was island originally more like moving sands. Then in the 17th century they made this originally just some water stream. They cut it deeper to make it powerful, the mill. There was about 9 mills, and since then this became a proper island. The sands were stopped because there was a big fire in 1541 at a little town, which also spread to the castle. And from that, all the garbage from the fire was then brought here and kind of started the island. You see how it's busy. They started to build on this trash from the fire, and then it started. Kampa is part, this, or I call it half, but bigger half is this big park, and the other half is a little square there, which is usually visible from Charles Bridge because it's just under it. So I am now trying to see. Yes, it's a really beautiful day. Yes, we had like absolutely summer weekend. Yesterday was a little bit colder, and then now it's nicer again. So you see how the life goes on. And why it's called Kampa? Maybe you have heard the name, like, or it reminds you of something, like Kampa, campus, campo, for Claudia, campo, like a field, probably from Italian. The second option is that one source says that there lived a man. He was a grandson of Tycho Brahe, the famous astronomer, and he had a garden here, and his name was pretty long. I don't remember. It's something like Richard Brahe Tycho from Kampa. So that's why they call this place Kampa after him. And they even in the sources you can read that in his garden that was the first place in Europe where the tulips were grown. So they were brought somewhere from east, not to Netherlands as you would expect, but to Prague. So first place around here. Campus, Kampa. In Czech language there is no meaning for the word Kampa. It's the only place, it's only here. So it must be somehow connected with someone who lived here. And I have my personal, like always here, or always, already twice in my life, so it's definitely not always. But it happened to me once when I was a teenager. I wrote some work about a meeting with the boy on a little boy on a this not stroller but on a little bike, and I wrote a little story for my class. And then this exactly what I was writing about happened to me. So I always meet here some small children and they talk to me. When I was getting ready for the tour, so it means like 5 minutes ago, two little girls, I'm wondering if I can see them here, join me, and they were like, and literally they asked me a question. Any chance you have met a couple of parents here? I was like, couple of parents, it can be anyone. So I was like, oh, I'm not going the tour, I'm going to look for the parents of the girls. Then the older girl, who was not asking, she was just joining, the older one told the other, Josephine, don't dramatize the situation, we will find them. And then finally they found them. Yeah, they are here. So it was actually these two girls, and that's their parents. So finally they found each other. And I was happy that I can do the tour and I don't have to be the one looking around for parents to help them. I decided today to talk a bit more about Meda Mladkova, because at the moment I am reading the book about her life. And she's connected with Kampa, the way that she purchased this building and made it a museum. But she died, it's already I think 2-3 years ago. She must have been older than 100 years. So she was born something like 1020 or something like this. So yeah, so something like 100 years old. And she was a collector of art. She even made one Czech artist, which is founder, like overall in the whole world, founder of abstract art. If you know the name, if you don't know the name, you can try to guess. She founded the museum here. She bought it. She even had her apartment here. And I want to take you to the courtyard. You've probably already been there. However, I think it's quite beautiful. So who do you imagine was the founder of abstract art? He was born 1871, died at the age of something like 96. I just read about him in the book of Meda, how she met him, how she was trying to help him. So no one knows at the moment. So that's this man, František Kupka. You will find his work in National Gallery in New York. You will find his work all around the world. So that's one of the first pieces of his work, famous works like Amorpha and so on. So Meda Mladkova, the original owner, or the owner now, or she died, so before she died, the owner of this former mill building started his career. She met him when he was already 8 years old or so, but he was not very famous, something like Van Gogh. He was not very famous, and she really helped him to become famous and like admired artist. Now I just make it to the river, so you see from one stream to the river, and it's beautiful weather, blue sky, a lot of people hanging around. There is like a graffiti wall which is allowed, but there's no special art at the moment, and big life on these paddle boats. I quite like also that island where I like to go with my little dog. This, you can see the difference in between this and that. This is the river. It's shallow, especially here, a little bit deeper here. But this is a lock where the boats are coming. So when the boats want to move from the top of the river to bottom, they have to go through the lock all this way and to the bridge. Here you can see the lock that it has to go through, and the Charles Bridge, of course. On the Kampa, it's called Kampa Museum, by the way, at the moment. It's very modern with these little glass details, which were added when it changed to be museum. Before, it was a mill of Otkolek family. Otkolek is pretty famous name from the bakeries. There were a lot of bakeries and Otkolek bread and Otkolek cakes. Today it's United Bakeries. Otkolek doesn't exist anymore. However, originally it was his mill, and when Meda Mladkova, after the change of regime, came back to Prague from the United States, she was pretty stubborn lady, yeah? So she was fighting of this ruined building, and that's what she made of. I will try. I have my other phone with pictures, so I will try to show you something. Meanwhile, this is the courtyard. Usually there is some kind of art, not today that much, but we can see Meda Mladkova here. Yeah. So that's her, and I see 1919 to 2022. So she was 103 years old when she died, and she had a private apartment here. I'm not sure if it's this one, but I met her a couple times when I was walking around. I met her standing in these doors, and I asked her, "How are you doing?" And she told me, "Still alive." She must have been something like 100 years old then. So let's look around. Jan Mládek, the name here, that's her husband, or that was her husband. So now I have my camera ready. So I mean the one with, yeah. So that's doesn't work much. Meda with her husband. Yeah, it's the reflection, so I will not use it. Anyway, I was trying to make some pictures, but I will put them on Facebook, so you will find them. So sometimes there is some nice artwork, yeah, and inside the museum, especially with Kupka or Gutfreund, who is a cubistic sculptor. You maybe have heard his name, Gutfreund. I discovered that he was Jewish when I visited Spanish synagogue in Prague, and some of his works were there on display. This is kind of strange what I'm showing you, but this, when they opened the courtyard, there was water. Yeah, it was just water like this, and no, these barriers were not there, and I thought it actually is glass and not water. So I was walking like here, and then jumped to the water. I thought it's a glass, so I will cross it, but it was not a glass, and I believe a lot of people thought that's why the barriers are here. However, the water is gone at the moment. So let's move. So what Meda Mladkova did, she was born 1919 in our country, and then she married this man. When she was like something like 40 years old, she left. She was studying economics. She started her publishing house. And then she met this man who was one of the heads of, I don't know how you translate it to English, but International Currency Fund organization with the seat in Washington. And she moved from Switzerland when she was after the revolution, which changed our regime from democracy to communism. So she left to Switzerland, then to Paris, where she met him. He was for 1 year working in Paris. She kind of really was fighting for him. He was International Monetary Fund, that's the one. Thank you, Satyam. So he was a ladies' man. He never wanted to get married, but finally he did. And she was making her own money and buying the art. That's, by the way, that's her when I have met her, so in the age of 100. Unfortunately, that's her friend here. It's a politician. Extremely unpopular one, but what can you do? They were friends, and he's now the head of the foundation of her name. So that's one of the strange arts here. So Madame Mladkova in Washington, she lived at the area where Liz Taylor lived. The house of Liz Taylor was just next door. And how she made money? She haven't asked her husband, give me money, I want to buy art and start a collection. But she was buying deteriorated houses and rebuilding them. Also the furniture, and as she studied languages, she was also dancer, then she studied the art, and that's when she used her knowledge and was repairing the furniture and doing the interior decorations of the houses. So one of the best example, like it was not always, once he bought a house for $50,000 and sold it for $500,000, $500,000. This is absolutely unusual for this time of the year. It's 11 April, and these flowers, we call them sherik, and they smile beautifully. So these flowers were used on a May Days 1945, when in our country we welcomed the Red Army to save us for Hitler. And we always have learned that it was extremely early for sherik, for the flower, for the bush, to be in bloom, and it was 9 or 8 or 9 May. So imagine now it's April and it's already on, so even 1 month earlier. And so here we are. You know where you will find these statues of the babies? Anyone knows where you will find them in Prague? I will give you lilac. Yes, that's definitely like lilac, Kevin. Thank you. I was not thinking about the English name, but it is. So, any idea where you will find these statues, the same size, babies, climb big TV tower, of course. So the same statues as these we are seeing are climbing the TV tower in Prague. The work of David Černý, that's the guy we talk about, the cafe. It's quite funny, quite popular to climb it, ride it like a horse. However, it's extremely slippery, so I don't try anymore. And the face, why the face? Yes, Tish, I love lilacs are divine. Why the barcode? Once I met David Černý, I asked him some questions about his art, because I do sometimes this tour of his art. And he was not very nice, very friendly. So I have and he told me I can make my own explanation. So my explanation is that the barcode, instead of the face, is there, that we are changing from humans to be something, to buy, to be only good, which is definitely not what I want. By the way, the TV tower with the babies climbing, the top of it is visible here. So if you have a better view from some other place, you see the TV tower with the babies climbing the tower. And now I am here to show you another artwork, which is for me a little bit strange. And I don't like it much, because a lot of the art we have are critical to us. So I'm not showing you at the moment the yellow penguins, which I like. However, I don't consider them much art, but I like them at night. They are shining. But I am showing you the chair. That's the work of Magdalena Jetelová. This one, it's small, yeah? The person is probably as high as this. But originally, they were standing a much higher chair. It was more like this. And if you wanted to sit on it, you were just sitting like on the chair like this. That was a person comparing to the original chair. The explanation of it, Czech people just sit and wait. That's actually what we do. That's true, I know, but it's not much polite to hear it and to think about it. So that big chair was taken by the huge flood in 2002, and it flew away. So that one is gone. It was even like broken during the way. So that's why they later on they make the smaller one. And we are looking the direction to the Old Town with Charles Bridge, Old Town Tower, and so on. And I like this place. I'm thinking I have a lot of memories from meeting the children and talking to them. To another one. So imagine that my school was not far from here. My school was the profession house of Jesuits, which is just part or next to the St. Nicholas Church, this way, not far, 5 minutes walk. And I studied my first class at the university and 2 months of the second class in the university there, and it was during communistic regime. So we had one class which was about the movement of the Workers' Party. It was about the history of communistic parties all over the world. It's blurry, so I am going a little bit. What's the signal? I don't see it here. So I will go maybe a little bit further. So anyway, let's go on. So I was here, I was at the school, at this class, but everyone knew it must end, you know. Everyone knew that this regime, the socialistic, communistic regime is going to the end. So no one took really care of the classes in this topic. And we asked during this such a beautiful weather our teacher to take us to the garden here. We were sitting on the benches, enjoying the view and talking something else, that communistic history and so on. So that's one of my other memories of this place, and that's quite beautiful how the sun shines through the leaves. We can see the Petřín watchtower just here, and still the garden. So I hope the signal is better. My problem with the chat is that it's vanishing, so I have to always stop and kind of click on a screen and see if there is something or not. So, and one more thing which you will find at this since 2002 here on Kampa Island, but not only here but all around the river, is this line. The line, it's flood wall, so that's not a flood wall, but when the water is coming, they will install pillars here, or columns, not pillars, columns, and then aluminium plates and build a wall to protect it. By the way, the mill, which is now behind me, which is Museum Kampa of Meda Mladkova, sorry, it was very badly hit by the flood. So it was a problem. In our country, I don't know if you have it somewhere else, probably yes, we have something which is called memorial tree. One of the memorial trees I'm standing now under, it's the beautiful sycamore tree, which is here on the island. It's quite high, and it's written here what age it is. It's a memorial tree. We call it platan, so not sycamore in Czech language is platan, and it's 34 meters, and we guess 200 years old. 200 years old. So that's one of the oldest trees in Prague. Meda Mladkova, that's the lady. She started the museum shortly, a couple years before she died. She was fighting to get also this villa, which belongs to famous Czech artists. One of them was actor, extremely popular actor, especially from his time before the Second World War, when he was in a couple with another, not in a couple, like they were duo, comic duo with another man. I will talk about them in a moment. And before, just look at the statue here, Abbé Dobrovský. The name is Joseph, but he was Abbé, which means a priest or father. And he is responsible, one of the men responsible for Czech language. I mean, he started Czech literature when we were allowed to speak only German. So he was the first person, he started the Czech language again to be spoken at the theaters, at the offices, at schools. So now let's get here. So now the villa. Shortly before her death, Meda Mladkova was able to get this villa, and today it's called Werich. villa. I do not expect you have ever heard his name, but maybe you know the name of his second half of this duo, comic duo, which was Jiří Voskovec or George Voskovec, originally George Waxman, but it was a German name, Waxman, which is more or less the same like in English. So he changed his name to Voskovec, which is the same. Vosk is wax. And they were really fighting Nazis, but they were also fighting communists. However, this Waxman, Voskovec, after the war, he left the country because of communism. Werich, the one who stayed and lived in this villa, had a wife, and his wife was communist. So he decided to stay. That's how the couple separated. And if you have seen the movie 12 Angry Men with Peter Fonda, Henry Fonda in 12 Angry Men, then you have seen George Voskovec, because I don't know if you remember the story, but there is a jury at the court. One of them, the most important man, is the role goes to Henry Fonda, and just the second man who starts to doubt is the suspect is guilty or not is George Waxman or Voskovec, our actor who was a friend of Jan Werich. And here we have a face of Jan, that's the name, Jan Werich, and his face. Extremely popular. He, by the way, during our Hego tour, I was showing some pictures, some photos from Golem movie, and he played in the movie in Golem. He played Rudolf II, the emperor, and so on. This building is Liechtenstein Palace. It's a hotel for emperor's visit, for presidential visits. So if you are invited by president or by our government, then you will be living at this hotel like German president or English queen when she was alive yet. So they stayed in this hotel. And this is the square. I told you that Kampa, it's bigger half, the park behind me, and smaller half, the square. Also here you will find some beautiful house signs, like a house at the Blue Fox. So Blue Fox house, and above the Blue Fox. Yeah. So I hope now it's better, Kevin, it's not that blurry. So this is baby infant Jesus and Blue Fox. So one of the house signs here in Prague. By the way, it used to be embassy building of Estonia, but they moved a couple of years ago, they moved it to some other place. So now let's go back to the river. This is my really favorite area, so I will take you there. On my right hand, that's this Liechtenstein Palace. In a movie, the first international production after revolution with Tom Cruise, was Mission Impossible, and the building played the role of American embassy. So when at the beginning of the movie, the team of Tom Cruise, they are leaving the embassy, they are walking here and they are being killed. You don't have to be scared. It's hopefully not going to happen. It used to be a bit quiet place, but now it's just beautiful, and there is a port for boats. It became a little bit more popular, but I like it. And when we did these online tours for Amazon, we were starting here our Charles Bridge tour under this place with this view. So since then I started to like this place. Even there is a little like beer garden from the restaurant on the left-hand side. Still, there are some locals living. It's not that often in a city center, but I am following on Facebook some groups like people living on Kampa Island, and even some actors and actor lived here. So it's like a little village, you know. You don't feel it, you don't see it, because it looks like it's a very touristic place, but it is also local, also like a little village. And I will show you something. I usually show it to my clients, but let's look at this. You see, that's a coaster, paper coaster for beer. You can guess what beer it is, but it's written there, Budvar. But that's a Czech version, Czech, the original Budweiser. Budvar, there is written from the national brewery, because today all the breweries, even the Pilsner Urquell, belongs to big companies, Japan or South Africa. This is the only Czech, real Czech brewery, Budvar, which is the original beer. The Budweiser you know from the United States is a different brand, even though it looks the same, but it's not the same beer. Some places there is still some places where you cannot buy both of them. You can only buy one of these beers, the American one, Budvar, or the Czech Budvar. So I like this place. We can see the arches of Charles Bridge. Charles Bridge is made of sandstone, which is fragile. So there are these wooden constructions, which are icebreakers. Of course, the Vltava River doesn't freeze anymore at the moment, because we built a system of dams and the water is always coming from the bottom of the dam, and it's stable 4 degrees Celsius, and you need to have under zero, and with the fresh water a lot of under zero, to have some ice, which is not the case. That's the sign, flood 14 August 2002, flood line 1784, 1845. But 2002 was the highest ever. So that's one of the places. I will show you then another one. Under the bridge now here, still this is a Kampa. Children's playground here, and behind it, that is already behind them. It's already a little town, the big houses. But behind the children's playground, there is a smaller house which is called Kampa Park, and that's famous restaurant, really like a posh, expensive restaurant. They have some fishes, and I call it Norwegian prices, as it's Norwegian owner, Norwegian prices. Kampa Island was extremely popular with pottery markets. There were living potters, so there used to be pottery markets. Today these days, we have some usually Christmas markets, a little one with food, and then some foodies market, very often some French. So there is wine and snails and a lot of whatever French food you can find. So it usually happens on this little Kampa square. We have been there, we just make it around this block. So that's, by the way, exactly this is the place in the movie of Mission Impossible #1, where the car of one of the member of Tom Cruise team is blown. And the stairs from Charles Bridge that were built in 18th century. So from 14th century there was no entrance from the bridge to the island, but there was no point, because the island more or less haven't existed, just moving sands. Then fire 1541, then they dig the hole for the mills to kind of have better stream, and that's how it started to be separated island and build the houses on it. I know that some locals live here, but also you can have some Airbnbs. So I'm happy that you love lilacs. My grandfather also had a lot of different colors of lilacs, but his garden is already gone, unfortunately. So let's look here This was during communistic regime. This was one of the hidden streets. It's called the Grape Street, because there was something special, and that was John Lennon's wall. So that's why I'm actually taking you not that much because of the John Lennon's wall, but anyway, that's one of the reasons as well. Let's peek inside, because John Lennon's wall is not far. There you will find something like a little London, yellow submarine with the faces, the red telephone box. So that's decorated to commemorate. However, John Lennon or Beatles have never visited Prague. It's here. I've already talked about it on some other tours, but I can tell it again. So the wall was painted when John Lennon died as his memorial. For a short moment, I am going to leave Kampa Island here. So we are again crossing what was called Lovers Bridge, because for a long time, for let's say from 2015-16 till not 15 but 2005 2006 till a couple years ago, 3 years ago to COVID, these were covered with the love locks. So it was called the Lovers Bridge. But we don't like love locks because they are spoiling the bridge, so they are gone. And it runs on electricity. It's just for tourists. And this is a waterman. By the way, if you have been, I'm planning to go there again to the New World. There, this artist Nalepa, who made the waterman, had his workshop, his home. So let's go for John Lennon's wall. At this moment, from John Lennon's wall being like a memorial and a peace wall, it changed to be more like a graffiti wall. Everyone paints on it. Everyone writes on it. Now nothing happens to you if you do. But during communistic regime, it was a problem. Unfortunately, honestly, I have to admit, I am not a brave girl. Yeah, so I was also in 1990s when we were finally free. One of the first things was that I came here and painted my name on the wall. But it was already safe, so I have to admit that I am not that brave girl. I love this because it does a great background. I don't like much this graffiti, I don't like much the mess, but if you want to make a picture portrait, come here, and it's great for background for portraits. So for this, it's a great place. This is, by the way, kind of like LP. It's LP's circle, and it's all mirror, but the mirror is already covered with stickers and so on. So the half part, not so many people make it to the upper top, so it's much nicely painted, and down there it's already overpainted. But my main reason, honestly, was not to bring you here because of the wall. My main reason was to take you here inside of this little garden. That is the Maltesian order, not embassy, but the head. And another, an older sycamore tree is this. So this is supposed to be the biggest and oldest tree in Prague. Also, yeah, the biggest, the highest, and also the oldest sycamore tree. Also a memorial tree, similar like we have seen before. And not only I wanted to show you this, but I want to take you inside. It can happen that again the signal will be down because it's inside of an old building. I hope not. So let's go. And it's design shop. So it's another design shop which I like. My favorite pieces are the vases like this one or that one. That's glass. But more, I'm coming here because of this room, but not because of the t-shirts with pictures, photos from the John Lennon's wall, which you can buy. But I am coming because this is former Sala Terena, and it's very nicely decorated. People usually don't notice the decoration inside of this room. So Sala Terena was originally one room with only 4 walls, and yeah, Laurie, you have a couple of those vases. I have as well. I love them. So this was originally open to the garden. There was the 4th wall, no window. Sala Terena was 3 walls, and one of them open. As we will see next Thursday, we are going to Wallenstein Garden, and there the Sala Terena. It's also beautifully decorated, and you will see how it's supposed to look like. So I wanted you to see this beautiful Baroque detail and just a few art, the Czech design. Let's go. So know that I don't want to spend longer, but I'm not sure about the signal. So I prefer being somewhere where I know that the connectivity is better. So we are leaving the area of Maltesian or the garden. And why the students chose this place? That was students who chose this place to paint it as a memorial of John Lennon. Originally, you can see it a little bit here, this shape, was a hole in the wall, and there was a well. Inside was a well, so people were kind of climbing down, taking water and getting out. Then in 1906, they took the fountain, the well, outside. So from 1906, you can find it here. So you can pump. I don't think actually you can pump. You can pump, but I don't think that the water will come out now at the moment. However, they took it out and blinded the original place. And it looks a little bit like a tombstone. Yeah, so you see it. So imagine there was the face of John Lennon. Later on, there was a huge face of John Lennon on here, just a black on the wall. Now it's this. Once it happened to me that I told my clients we were getting closer to the place. I explained them that it's John Lennon's wall and so on. And I told them every day is different. You know, you arrive, someone is painting on it. So it's every day is different painting. And we came here and it was all completely white. The whole wall was white and there was a sign, the wall is over. I was shocked completely. But then the wall started over. It was just another painting, but it was all over the wall. But it was big shock to see it all white. Yeah, the wall is over. And later on, after it, someone changed the word wall to the war. War is over, much better. Why I am showing you this entrance, I quite love the architecture of this door. But maybe you know that we had a president, our first president from 1918 to 1935, for 17 years. They changed the law for him. Otherwise, you can be president only 5 + 5. But he was 17 years. Then he abdicated. He was over 90. His wife died a long time ago. He was in his 80s when he became president. And he had a mistress. And his daughter, who was playing a role of the first lady, she didn't want a mistress at the castle, which was a presidential apartment then. So our president had to go to this building behind me with the beautiful portal. He had to go there if he wanted to meet his mistress. For me, it's kind of funny. He was 90, you know. But I like it. Strong man, good man. And having a mistress in this age, it's really, really something. So we are back to the Volpa because I will take you now a little bit further from this place. But again, I wanted to show you the signs. So more power to him. Yeah, that's the ground. How high am I? I'm probably as high as this. Water level 1940, water level 1890. This took 2 pillars of Charles Bridge. 1845, 1784, and 2002. You see how high it is. Let's see it with the person. So there is a car, and that's the water level 2002. So that's really something. We had another flood. I always forgot if it was 211 or 213. The water level would be somewhere here. However, we already built a system of flood walls, so there was no water in Kampa Island. But this flood 2002 quite helped the island in terms of the reconstruction. The houses became like repaired, reconstructed, but even now, actually now I don't see it that much anymore, but quite a long time you were able to see the line of the water, a little bit different shade of the wall here and of the wall up there. It was like it was all soaked with water. The water was standing for 2 weeks and then it dried. It made a difference. So still, but it's already dried, I think. Long time it was possible to see the line, the different shade, even if you repainted it with the same color, with everything the same, but it was different. So now we are going to cross the bridge, which you can think about it as an Amsterdam or as Venice, as the place I'm going to play the role in the movie of Eurotrip. And this is kind of funny. Eurotrip was all filmed in Prague, more or less only in 2 locations, showing different cities all around Europe, but not Prague. So that's about some students. The movie is quite stupid, I think. However, sorry if you like it, it's just, not for me that much. But I watched it because of Prague, of course. But it played the main role, but was never mentioned. It always played the role of some other city. Pretty popular bistro Brunswick with locals, especially. The local people often hang around here or at Kampa Island. These areas are full of tourists, so at least some places are popular with locals. However, this is not one of them. This is a cafe, restaurant, where locals don't go, because it's Café Márnice, meaning the mortuary. So mortuary is not a popular place to go for the dinner. And this bridge played the role of Amsterdam. This view played the role of Venice. So that's still we are at the Kampa Island, but we are going to leave it in a moment. We are going to leave it soon. So Čertovka stream, very shallow water. The water is very shallow, more like from here. Yeah, like this shallow only. So let's go, let's look this way. The towers of Charles Bridge on Little Town. And one of my favorite views to Čertovka, to Devil Stream, it's from here, because you can nicely see the mill, the blue building, which is a pigsty, or no, it's not. Now it's the most expensive pigsty. There is apartment. Grand Priory Mill is this building. And that's Kampa Island, now behind the Čertovka stream. Well, I'm not done yet. I would like to show you one other place, so let's go a little bit quicker this moment. And again, I will need, so yeah, if you are asking something, if you want to ask me, please do. Will we reach Puppet Shop? I haven't planned it, and it's already behind me. So maybe on some next tour I will take you to Puppet Shop. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you will be interested. So far, as I know, there is luckily there are some. So I'm definitely not going inside because it's no signal. However, at least some puppets we can see here. So if you have seen the movie Amadeus with Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Salieri, then the first scenes of the movie were taken here. Salieri is coming home, I think it's snowing, and exactly that street he is heading to his home. I like this Shakespeare and Son 2002 shop with books. If you want some English books, this is your place where you can go. So there are yet actually two places I wanted to show you, not just one. One of them is being here, the second one is here. Behind this wall is the oldest garden in Prague. It's from 13th century and it belongs to Bishop Court. And what made me smile is that one of the first names of the garden was Baggins, like Bilbo or Frodo from Lord of the Rings, because one of the men who owned it, his name was Baggins in Czech language, which is Pitlík, but translated to English Baggins. So it's like a Frodo or Bilbo's garden. And in between this pink and green house is the most narrow street in Prague. For a long time it was closed, reconstructed or whatever, and today I saw it first open. Originally it was not a street, it was just a hole in between the two houses. There were many more of these all around Prague. Protection from the fire. So there was a fire on like this block, then it didn't jump to the other one. You see people coming out and there is the red light. So we have to wait. I'm not going there because of signal, but we would have to wait for the green one. Green is on, but still a lot of people going down. It only leads to the terrace of the restaurant. Yeah, and I hope the restaurant will have a little bit better reviews. So far the reviews are more like bad, so I'm so far not recommending the place. However, the most narrow street, it's quite beautiful. The place I'm getting you now is former brickyard. There were bricks that built Prague, made Herget's brickyard. Herget is also quite famous name, quite famous entrepreneur. Today there is Franz Kafka's museum, but honestly Franz Kafka has nothing to do with this place. There are so many places where he has lived, where he has stayed, where he wrote his books, but not here. So this is Herget brickyard, and you usually see it from the river, because there is from the bridge and the river. It's just behind it is river. And we are here to look at another work of David Czerny, like the babies peeing or pissing fountain. His works are always controversial. I'm not his fan, and this is one of the reasons, because the shape of the fountain is the Czech Republic. So I don't really like two men pissing on the Czech Republic. However, I have read some explanation. It's like Hitler and Stalin. Then I say, like, okay, I can live with this. But anyway, not really happy. However, it doesn't work, unfortunately. But originally, these men were planned to write the letters, some famous words of famous people, which they don't do. Now it's only moving. And there also used to be a telephone number to where you can send SMS, and then they will write your message. Oh, he's actually writing something. Oh, not, maybe not. So that was supposed to be part of the art, but it never worked properly. So, pissing fountain. And the gingerbread shop with a lot of smells, beautifully of course, and nice cafe. And now let's look to this other garden. If you have seen on a Facebook book, this picture, which was connected to the event or to the invitation to this tour, that was from the book which is called The Garden. The man who painted it and who wrote it was Jiří Trnka. He was something like Walt Disney. He did animated movies, a lot of them. And he lived at the same house as Werich, this villa that Meda Mladkova purchased at the end of her life. As for another museum, we have seen this strange red stuff there. We have been there. So Trnka lived at the same house, but they were very unfriendly with Mr. Werich. They hated each other, so it was not together. So anyway, this is hotel at the Peacock. I've been there only once and it's surprisingly beautiful inside. So the Peacock is here. So Peacock Hotel. And we are going to the garden. The story of the garden is from my childhood, one of my absolutely most favorite stories. Not only that the paintings are beautiful, but it's a story of 5 boys who discovered the garden, the secret doors, and they make it in. And then they are fighting with the bad tomcat who lives there. They discover the big fish, huge fish, who lives in a fountain and reads books. She had even glasses that are made from the old bike. So you imagine how big she is if from the bike like this she has the glasses for reading the books. And this is the garden which was the base for the story. Today it's called Vojanovy Garden, opened 1956 for public. Mr. Vojan was an actor who lived nearby, but originally the oldest garden from 13th century named Baggins, like Bilbo or Frodo. I don't know if I read it properly. That's my problem. That's why I'm not reading it that well. But it used to be, there you see the oldest history, some maps, and it belonged to the order of Santa Clara. So Clarisky and Carmelitky. Yeah, so that's some pictures how the garden was growing and growing. Next week, so we are here in this garden. We entered here. We entered here. We are in this garden. There is a wall. There rides a tram. And next Thursday, we are going to this garden, which is Wallenstein Garden. So you see how close they are and completely different. So belonged to the monastery, the ladies working here, and so on. It's quite quiet, not very much visited. So there is a little pond. We can listen to the birds singing and enjoying. I can't get here with Irvínek, so I enjoy the time I'm here. As usual, I am going with my dog, and dogs are not allowed here, so that's a pity for me. Chance to be here with you. Yeah, thanks, Linda. Linda writes, if you can leave me a comment or after the tour or leave like, that will help me for other tours. By the way, my other tours. So tomorrow, in a week, more or less the same time as today, Thursday, is going to be the Wallenstein Garden. But I also do a little bit earlier tour on Wednesday, which is quite nice area. We haven't been there together. It's around the goat market. They are having some locals very often have there some actions. So that's why I go there that time. So we will see what will come out of it. But especially people who like doors. I was shown a couple of weeks ago a picture of Prague doors, if I can take you there. And it's there. I think, Cecile, you know that I believe that was you. So So you will have a chance to see the doors there around the goat market. It's very close to Jewish town, by the way. So I was hoping to meet some peacocks here, as this garden is usually full of them. Usually they are at the terrace, so I'm heading there. Before, there are two chapels. This is one of them. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, so this is one of the beautiful Baroque chapels. It's Santa Teresa. Like this Baroque window is quite typical, where the sisters were having chapel and services in a garden. A lot of trees in bloom, and I especially want to show you the other chapel, which is dedicated to Saint Elijah, and that's this one. It's like a cave with similar design what we will see next week in the Wallenstein Garden, but the Wallenstein Garden is a little bit better. However, it has stalagmites and stalactites inside, and also the animals like the snakes going on the wall. Will we be able to peek inside? I'm not sure. No, it doesn't work much. We see it just the other window, but the walls are covered with pebbles and other stones. Here above the entrance there is double-headed eagles again, which was for Habsburg family. And you know, so hard for me to move out from here because of the smell of the lilac. I hear them. Maybe you have heard the peacocks, so I will take you there. But this is, unfortunately, I cannot send you the smell, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm going crazy. My brain cells are dying after the smell. Oh, this is also great. Lovely. So let's see some peacocks. And that's going to be the end of the tour. Sorry. So if you have any questions or you know what's on my plan is in some future to do not really a tour, but some talk with my father. And I will be talking about my life, my growing up through the communistic regime. Let me know if you are interested on Facebook that this is what you would like to see. So it's partially like 70s, 80s, the times where I grew up. And the second idea is asking my father about his memories to 1960s, maybe 1968. I already told him that I planned it, and he was like, I forgot everything. So I told him, you have to think. I plan to tour. So come out, fight, peacock fight. So you have to come out with something. You see how peacocks are fighting? Oh no, they are mating. They are trying to seduce the ladies. So 3 ladies and 2 boys. Ladies. Here, peahen, peacock, and wow. So not fight, but the mating dance. You see, here, yeah, the sound is great. Let's see the other one. There is another one there. She's not interested. Okay. Let's see the other one. I told you there is a lot of peacocks. And there is a third one also mating. So we are lucky today. I'm trying to make him move, but I love the colors. And If you haven't seen the peacock from the back, let's see how it looks from the back. Yeah, Tish, I don't know what the ladies want, but this is the back of the peacock. So this is a strong for holder for the beautiful one. So again, this is going to be the end of the tour. So we already have 1 hour and 5 minutes. So I'm just showing you this for you to enjoy. And then it's going to be the end. Let's see. Anyway, the girls doesn't seem to be much interested. So let's see how it will end up. Yeah, usually a lot of peacocks here on this terrace that belongs to the Boyan garden, the oldest garden. Let's see this one. He's not mating. I am happy that you enjoy it, Yvonne. Thank you. Thank you, Tish. By the way, of course, you know, if you want to support me, buy me a coffee, PragueByKaty, or PayPal, PragueByKaty at the gmail.com. You can feed them with from your hand. And let's switch the camera. And bye. Let's do it like this. So thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow. See you next week for either the Wednesday tour in Goat Market or Goat Square or Wallenstein Garden. I will be very happy to see you on both, but you know, as you wish. It will need some time. Last time it lasted overnight before this YouTube tour was processed and uploaded itself to the YouTube. And it was 20 minutes. This one is already 66 minutes or 67. So let's see how long it will last before this will be on YouTube available. Yeah. So see you. Bye. And have a lovely day. And hopefully enjoy, have a nice weekend and everything. Let's do the last few like this. And bye. Uploading as private. Okay, I will try and we will see if it works. Great idea. Thank you. Bye.